Some Pokemon are strong, popular, or even potentially broken, but for some reason their abilities do almost nothing. These are great Pokemon that just don't need their abilities at all. If you remove them completely, nothing would really change. So let's take a closer look at those Pokemon. We'll be focusing on Gen 9 OU Smogon singles for this video. Darkrai is an interesting case. Its ability is almost useless now, but it's used to be a key part of what made it so dangerous. Currently, Darkrai sits at A+ in the Gen 9 OU viability rankings, and it can't take advantage of its ability at all. Darkness' signature and only ability is Bad Dreams, which causes sleeping opponents to lose 12.5% of their max HP at the end of each turn. In the past, this ability was a major part of Darkrai's kit. Back when Darkrai was one of the strongest Pokemon in the Ubers tier, it used its signature move Dark Void, an 80% accurate sleep move that worked perfectly with Bad Dreams, especially with Darkrai's incredible speed. You can see how a reliable sleep move alongside passive chip damage made Darkrai a nightmare to deal with. But that changed in Generation 7 when Dark Void was nerfed to just 50% accuracy. After that, Darkrai started to fall off. Fast forward to Gen 9 where Darkrai was retested in the OU tier and has actually managed to stick around as a top tier threat. Gen 9 OU is one of the few generations where sleep moves are banned entirely, meaning Darkrai cannot use Bad Dreams at all. Ironically, Darkrai was one of the reasons this ban happened. Alongside Iron Valiant, it abused Hypnosis and its high speed to put something to sleep and gain 3 turns to set up and sweep. That said, Bad Dreams isn't completely useless. It does have a very small niche against stall teams, especially those that run Pokemon with Rest plus Sleep Talk like Dondozo or Tinglu. In those rare matchups, Bad Dreams activates while the opponent is asleep from rest, dealing passive damage every turn. So while it's irrelevant in most games, it can occasionally be helpful in those bulkier matchups. So what makes Darkrai so strong now, even without its ability? Well, it has fantastic special attack and speed stats, with decent enough bulk to survive a hit or two. Its move pool is also great. It gets coverage like Focus Blast, Ice Beam and Sludge Bomb to pair with Stab Dark Pulse. It also has strong utility in Nasty Plot, Will-O-Wisp, Knockoff and Trick. Trick is especially important on Choice Scarf sets, which are unique in that they allow Darkrai to outspeed even booster energy Pokemon with a speed boost, making it a great Pokemon for speed control. Keldeo is not currently ranked in the OU tier, but it has seen success there and is actually rated B+. It only has one ability, which is Justified. The ability boosts Keldeo's attack by 1 stage when it is hit by a Dark type. This is a decent ability, but Keldeo has a high special attack stat of 129 and a terrible attack stat of 72. Because of that, Keldeo will almost never run a physical set and it can really not take advantage of the attack boost. The ability has some potential since Keldeo can switch in on moves like Knockoff and take reduced damage due to resistance, but what good is that boost when its attack is so low? The only physical move it commonly uses is Flip Turn, which switches it out anyway, so that doesn't really count. In the end, this ability is basically wasted. Keldeo is known as a strong special wall breaker that relies on its excellent offensive typing, good speed and unique fighting typing that gives it a niche on balance and bulky teams compared to other water types like Primarina and Walking Wake. This ability does nothing for it. Next on the list is another dark type, Weavile. Even though it has 2 abilities that are basically useless, it still holds an A tier ranking. The abilities in question are Pressure and Pickpocket. Pressure is a familiar ability because Game Freak gave it to a lot of legendary Pokemon back in the day, something I will never understand. It can be useful on bulkier Pokemon that stick around longer and can stall out low PP moves, but that is not Weavile's role. Its defensive typing and bulk are poor, and in most games it will only survive 1 or 2 hits, and that's not enough for Pressure to make any real impact. There is one specific case where Pressure can be helpful. If you lead with Weavile, you can sometimes scout whether the opponent is using a Choice Scarf. This works because abilities that activate when entering the field do so in order of speed. So if you lead against a Landorus Therian and Intimidate activates before Pressure, it means Landorus is faster and is holding a Choice Scarf. Still, this only applies at the very start of a match or in rare cases where both Pokemon faint in the same turn, so it hardly ever comes up. Pickpocket is a bit more interesting on paper. If the user has no item and gets hit by a contact move, it steals the attacker's item. That sounds fun, but in practice it's pretty bad. First, it only works if you are not holding an item, which is not a viable strat in competitive play. The other option is getting knocked off mid-game, but since Weavile is a dark type, most Pokemon will not use knockoff against it. And even if Pickpocket activates, the item you steal could either help or hurt you. You might get a good item like Hefty Boots, but you could also end up with something like Black Sludge. Because of that unpredictability, the ability just isn't reliable. That's why most players stick with Pressure, even if it's not doing much either. Despite these ability issues, Weavile is still a strong ball breaker, its speed and attack are excellent, and it has access to powerful moves like Knockoff. Its offensive typing is great and provides useful speed control for many teams. Hoopa Abound is not currently ranked in the OU tier, but is still placed in the B tier. It only has one ability, its signature ability, Magician. This ability steals the item of any Pokemon Hoopa hits with an attack, but only if Hoopa itself is not holding an item. This ability suffers from the same problems as Weavile's Pickpocket. It sounds useful, but rarely works out in practice. Because Hoopa has poor defensive stats, it doesn't want to get hit by knockoff anyway, and it certainly does not want to lose its item. Nowadays, Hoopa is mostly used in OU as a special tank with an assault vest, thanks to its excellent mixed offensive stats and strong stab moves like knockoff and psychic noise. It can also serve as a surprise stall breaker. The assault vest boosts its already high special defense, allowing it to check threats like Golden Go, Darkrai, Kyurem and Raging Bolt. In this role, Hoopa fits well on balanced and bulky offensive teams. The last Pokemon on the list is Deoxys Speed, another one held back by the ability Pressure. Despite this, it's currently ranked A-. Like Weavile, Deoxys Speed doesn't have the bulk or typing to make good use of this ability. This is actually true for all Deoxys forms except for Deoxys Defense, which does benefit from it. Deoxys Speed can take on a variety of roles. It can be used offensively with strong coverage moves, often boosted by Nasty Plot. It can also function as a lead, setting up Stealth Rock and using Taunt to stop opposing setup Pokemon. Or it can use dual screens to support the rest of the team. Depending on the role, Deoxys can fit well on hyper offense, bulky offense or balanced teams. And there you have it. These are strong Pokemon that can perform incredibly well, even though their abilities barely do anything. Let me know in the comments which other Pokemon you think are great despite having completely useless abilities. And if you made it this far, don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you are new. If you want to support the channel even more, you can become a member for just $1, and your name will be featured on the end screen. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.